Martin Luther King said an injustice to one is an injustice to all, and that applies now to all species. Liberation is total. It's for all beings or it's for none at all. Our fates are interconnected, and what we do to the animals, we do to ourselves. When we kill animals by the billions and eat them, we die of unnecessary diseases that we acquire through consuming animal fat. When we destroy their habitat, we destroy the environment for ourselves. When we're violent to animals, we bring that violence into our own culture, into our own communities, into our own families. We poison our own psyches and our own souls. The ALF and the ELF expand on, they do not negate, they expand on the noble American traditions of sabotage and civil disobedience and property destruction for a higher ethical cause and all kinds of resistance. They extend the right to freely exist to the entire bio community. One of the hottest political battles today, no doubt, is over the politics of nature. And we are quickly finding that we are in the middle of a new civil war in this country. A new civil war. On the one side, you have people who will do anything and everything to rape this planet for their own selfish interests and for their own profit. And on the other side, you find an increasingly militant community of activists who will resist this genocide, this omnicide, tooth and nail. And so we are beginning to divide as a nation over the politics of nature. And we are forming a guerrilla war against our oppressors. We can't fight them tank to tank, gun to gun. We have to go underground. They do not know how to fight and win a guerrilla war. The U.S. imperialist state got its ass kicked in Vietnam. It's getting its ass kicked right now in Iraq. And it's going to get its ass kicked again by the underground resistance movements for animal and earth liberation. We need to multiply this resistance so that in every town, in every community, there is an ALF and an ELF smashing the engines of destruction. In 1973, the ALF emerged in England. They emerged, as you likely know, out of the Hunt Saboteurs movement. And when the Hunt Sabs were getting their asses kicked by the hunters and the state was doing nothing about it, when they realized that their tactics were not as effective as they hoped, they decided they'd go underground. They decided they were going to have to do something more radical to stop these hunts. So they started destroying the equipment of the hunters, and they sabotaged boats of sealers. And they started to engage in property destruction, and they started to engage in arson. And they escalated their attacks to vivisection industries, Ronnie Lee and a few others who named themselves first the Band of Mercy and then renamed themselves the Animal Liberation Front. And they had a twofold purpose. One was liberating animals, the other one was sabotage of the property of oppressors, of those who were exploiting animals. This is a nonviolent philosophy, and some of you may have a hard time with this paradox. If it is even that, it's not a contradiction. They're a nonviolent group. And you know, it's no accident that in over 30 years of militant actions, including hundreds, thousands of arson attacks, the ALF has never hurt or harmed a single human being. They ought not to be criticized for their radicalism. They ought to be commended for their restraint. It's no accident they never hurt anyone. This is a nonviolent group. And that definition means that property destruction is not violence. If you want to define property destruction as violence, somehow you're going to have to put a brain and central nervous system within a thing. Because it is not a sentient being. It cannot feel violence. So we can get into the semantics of that. That's a whole separate question. But I do not consider it violence. Some people in the movement do. But the idea here is that no one has the right to use property to harm other living beings and harm any other form of life. And that anyone who does claim that right, someone else has a higher right to take that property away from them. So if a sealer is using a club with a spike on the end, a metal spike, to bash in a baby seal's skull. What am I supposed to say? His property rights override the rights of that baby seal to live? Hell no. I'm going to grab that club, I'm going to throw it in the water. Because the right to life supersedes the right to property.